Kevin Campbell, one of Arsenal's legends who played for Arsenal from 1988 to 1995. He made 228 appearances and scored 46 goals. Has really come out and really said lots of positive things about Emile Smith-Rowe and as to why Arsenal are missing Emile Smith-Rowe, and has referred to him as a game changer. We are going to really talk a little bit about that. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. Rokani David is my name. Bukayo Saka getting more hungry for goals. That is Mikel Sylvester, formerly a player at Manchester United, and went in for his retirement all his last years of his career at Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. He has really gone ahead to really give Bukayo Saka a very good nod that he really deserves, that he's really getting hungry and going ahead to improve more. Then Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead to confirm to us about the rumors, all the news bubbling around Florent Balogun's future at Arsenal, because it looks like he's a lad that is so much on fire. He's being watched by very many Premier League teams and very many other European top-tier teams, but Arsenal are yet to make a decision, and Fabrizio Romano is yet onto this to let us know what all this is about. Welcome to the channel, and obviously Rokani David is my name. Smash the like button, comment and share. Don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, let's kickstart off with Emile Smith-Rowe, a player who underwent surgery in September. We expected him to return in January. He returned in January, but he got a setback, and I think it's a calf injury. Is it a thigh, hamstring, something of the sort? But it's said that this week is going to be back in training. And Kevin Campbell, the former Arsenal agent, has really gone ahead to say the following about this hell-end graduate, that is Emile Smith-Rowe. That you ask about a target man striker. We don't have that, but we have Emile Smith-Rowe. He's someone we can bring off the bench. Obviously, you talk of the players who can you bring off the bench to change the game of football, then you think of Emile Smith-Rowe. And if at all you're having Emile Smith-Rowe, Trossard, Edin Ketia, Jakub Kivio, with the player off the bench, Reece Nelson and very many others, that means you reinforced the bench of Arsenal. The same applies to Jorginho at Arsenal. Is one of those that you need to go all out and really do the needful and really talk about him, because he's also a very good a player coming off the bench to come in and act as a backup for Thomas Partey. But Emile Smith-Rowe is a guy or a gun or an option or a weapon you have from the bench that can really do the needful and come on and really help you about. And I think his injuries have really affected Arsenal a lot. Then he continued, let us know that if Emile Smith-Rowe is there, he's another one we are hoping can get himself fit and get going. He's our player. If he's fit, he's another one who could be a game changer when he comes on, because that's what you're asking for. So he's talking about Emile Smith-Rowe being a game changer. Rokani David, do you agree with it or not? I really believe that I agree with it. Do you know why? This guy, Emile Smith-Rowe, is a different player altogether at Arsenal. Arsenal has no player like Emile Smith-Rowe. Do you know why? He's the most direct player they have. And I think that's why when I read that maybe Arsenal is present signing Chiesa of Juventus, I really picked interest in that story, because it shows you how Mikel Arteta might be willing to go all out and really getting a direct player like Emile Smith-Rowe. The one that he's having is an injury-prone player, though even Federico Chiesa has been really injury-prone for the previous 1 or 2 seasons. But it shows you his interest in bringing a different kind of player altogether, because Arteta is aiming at building up a team with different weapons. When you're talking about Emile Smith-Rowe, his directness is nowhere near none of the Arsenal players currently playing at Arsenal. His goal to game ratio is really one of the best at Arsenal. Secondly, he has an eye for goal. And every time he decides to go in for a shot, it's almost into the back of the net. So he is really a very good player. Secondly, he's not selfish. Off the left, he cuts inside. If there is someone well placed, he'll go in and give him that ball. So he's a different player at Arsenal altogether, that he can play in the central midfield and he can play on the left attacking side of the midfield. That is a man known as Emile Smith-Rowe. Now, Is he really a game changer from the bench? I believe he is. I believe he is because he has a lot of directness in him. And secondly, he makes decisions quickly. He's a quick decision maker. He doesn't need to think twice to do something. When he decides that I'm going to get this ball, carry it, go ahead and score, he will. Last season, I remember there are certain games that he decided single-handedly. There is a game of Aston Villa where he got hold of that ball at the center line and moved with it, or dribbled it, past the defenders of Aston Villa, and he scored. Even there is a goal that Arsenal scored against Tottenham Hotspur. That game, I think it ended 3-0 in favor of Arsenal at Emirates. That game, Emily Smith-Rowe scored and put in an assist, but the way he broke, I think the assist that really created, the way he broke through, everyone thought that maybe he was going to go ahead and really go in for a central access pass, but he didn't. He didn't go for a central access pass. He just continued and went past these Spurs players and then went in for a cutback that found, was it Lacazette well placed, was it Odegaard or Bukayo Saka, and really curled that ball to the back of the net. So I think he's a game changer because he's direct. He's direct and he doesn't look back when he makes the decision that I'm now holding that ball and I'm taking it. Because in seasons like this, you'll need players like Emily Smith-Rowe to come in through and add those 10 goals he used to score a season, but I don't know whether he can make it because his fitness levels are really not yet up there because of the injuries that have been really distorting his career this season. So I believe him being referred to as a game changer, yes, he is. The fact is, he's a game changer. Emily Smith-Rowe, to me, is a typical game changer according to me. He's a very good game changer according to me because he really plays very, very, very well. And I believe he's really going to be one of those players that if at all he maintains his fitness levels, he'll be helpful to Arsenal in these remaining 3-4 months of the Premier League season. And they might see themselves win it. That's it with him. Now, Mikel Sylvester leaving Manchester United, going to Arsenal. Remember, he was going to Man City, and then Arsenal came in through Arsene Wenger called him up that please come to this side, and he signed for Arsenal. Played, I think, like for 2 or 3 years, but he's now looking like he's leaning so much to Arsenal yet. But he's not a player that I'll go ahead and really talk about. He's doing like what Van Persie did. Van Persie looks like he's more of a United player than an Arsenal player, yet he spent most of his career at Arsenal. But all what he achieved in the game of football at the club level, he achieved it at Manchester United. So Bukayo Saka has something to say about Bukayo Saka, and he has this to say. He said, looks like he's getting more hungry for goals. He's been clinical in the last third. Delivery, finishing, he's creating a lot of issues for defenders. 1v1s, 1v2s, teams are trying to double up on him. But every time I come out and say things about Bukayo Saka, people think I'm having an agenda on Bukayo Saka. My problem with him is simple. His decision making is really lacking. You know, like the game of Everton and the game of Newcastle. If you know that you are playing a team that is really having very many bodies in their back four or in their defense, you don't need to do all that jinking feet trying to take on players because you are giving them time to reorganize. The best thing for Bukayo Saka to do is to find himself in a position of really going in for a quick pass. You get, that's why Arsenal is missing. That's why Arsenal is missing Jesus Gabriel, because Jesus does all that for them. He decides when to go in for a solo effort or to take on defenders, and he decides where a quick pass is needed. That's what Bukayo Saka should add to his game. He's good on 1v1s, 1v2s, but sometimes he is wasteful because the time he takes thinking of really taking off a player, the defenders or other players or other bodies are really creating forests of legs or forests of bodies in the box of the opponent, which limits Arsenal to create chances. So I believe he's good, but he needs to improve on that. He needs to improve on that because every time you don't need to go on and take on a player. Look at players like Messi. By the way, Messi rarely goes in to take on players. You get? He only does it when it is called for. Then that is something that Bukayo Saka should go ahead and really improve on his game. But otherwise, a very good player that I would love to see him prosper. But I think his decision making is really lacking in those final aspects, because even when I support Manchester United, I was telling people in my match reaction when Arsenal beat us by 3-2 that apart from Bukayo Saka hitting those 2 shots, one that was on target and the other struck the bottom post, what else did he do? Luke Shaw managed him very well, you get, and always forced him to shift to the left and obviously out of the 18-yard box area of Manchester United, decreasing harm. The game of the game of Man City, you saw what happened. Nathan Ake marked Bukayo Saka out of the game. The same thing happened to the game of Everton. And one thing is that he's now predictable. He's a predictable player. He needs to be unpredictable. Get that ball, pass it, wait for a double pass or return pass from Odegaard, or make a run. The best players I've seen in the world of football, their most deadliest weapon is their mobility and movement. That's why Arsenal is missing Jesus, because he is the most mobile player on the field of play, and his presence creates spaces for these Arsenal players to come in through and really operate at the levels they feel like they should be operating. So as things stand, I believe Bukayo Saka is a very good player, but he needs to improve on his mobility. He needs to improve onto his decision making, because Arsenal play creating a blind side. They make lots of passes in the central axis to see to it that the fullbacks and the wingers of those teams come all get attracted to the ball in the central axis. Then either Partey, Xhaka, or Odegaard, or Zinchenko floats that ball on the blind side, or Ben White. That's what they do. Now, when you look at Everton, what they did was they put their 3 bodies, Onana, Gueye, and Dokore. Those 3 bodies were meant to really stop that play. Even if that play succeeded, Arsenal had no plan to pass centrally. They thought of really switching that play to the left or right, wide areas, to find Martinelli or Bukayo Saka. But guess what? The fullbacks, Coleman, had really closed down Martinelli, because he knew that if you give Martinelli space, he's going to really kill you and go past you. He'll really tear you apart. Saka to Mielenko was on the back of Saka, and he couldn't let him go past him. So what does that mean? If you're Bukayo Saka, don't spend most of your game at the wide area. Try to cut inside, do some passing, make movements, because I would like to see Bukayo Saka switching sides with Martinelli. Martinelli switching left, Bukayo Saka switching right, and vice versa. You should create a position of threat for your opponents. And how do you create that? Being unpredictable. Saka is a very good player, but he's predictable. So I think he should work on that, and the rest will really go in his good faith. Then the other thing that Sylvester talked about Saka was he's also not standing out wide. He's coming in more often now, and in the 6-yard box as well. He's showing more presence. But however much he's showing more presence, I believe I want to see him making more presences in the central axis of the second third of the pitch. That's it. In the final third, cuts well in the 18-yard box area, but I want to see him going in the midfield a lot, as you see at least Martinelli, because Martinelli, at least for him, he drifts a lot into the midfield in the second half to pick that ball and then do the one-touch passing and so on and so forth. But I would like to see Bukayo Saka improve onto that, because you can't be a player that plays that side ever and you keep yourself onto that line and wait for that. But I think he should be improvising enough, industrious enough, and his creativity will really increase, and obviously his goals that he scores will really improve. And I think Mikel Arteta will go ahead and really help him on that, And I pray to it that Arsenal gets in a player like Asensio, because Asensio will come and orchestrate that to Bukayo Saka very, very well. Because you need to be having that wide player cutting inside from anywhere the pitch, and he should be able to come centrally, and even Odegaard switches to the right, and then Bukayo Saka comes in the central axis. I believe that will be an ideal Bukayo Saka that everyone would like to be seeing, because he's 21 and he needs to be changing his game, because every day, defenders and teams are really doing homework on his play. So he needs to improve on his play such that he's unpredictable, and even when they come in expecting X, he comes in with Z. You get? That's what we call having an answer to every question that the opponent is going to ask you, because the opponents will come to really fail Bukayo Saka to play. So that's it about Bukayo Saka, and thank you guys for watching. Now, Florent Balogun, I did a story yesterday of his manager at Reims coming out and saying that they wanted to sign him on a permanent deal in the January transfer window. Arsenal said no. Now, very many people are asking, what is the plan of Arsenal on Florent Balogun? And Fabrizio Romano went ahead to throw us more information about this deal of Florent Balogun and his future at Arsenal. He said Arsenal never thought of bringing Florent Balogun back in January, despite his excellent form in League One. They wanted to protect him, as Reims' loan has proven to be an excellent decision for the player's development, and obviously, that's it. I think the best loanee of the season is Florent Balogun. Is there anyone else? Unless otherwise, João Felix comes in through and really hits the ground running and really scores goals, though his spell at Chelsea was really diverted, or really suffered a three-match ban after getting a red card in his first game. That was his debut against Fulham. But I believe when he comes in through and scores goals, then he might surpass Florent Balogun. But Balogun in France, he is the top scorer that side and is topping the league that side. So they wanted to keep him there. An excellent decision for the player's development. Obviously, confidence is increasing, and let no one lie to you that there is a person who is performing better in his age at this world than him. That is Florent Balogun. And then Fabrizio concluded by telling us that two Premier League clubs, an Italian club and Borussia Mönchengladbach, wanted to sign Florent Balogun last July, but France with Reims was seen as the best option. Arsenal will decide Balogun's future in May or June, not now. So, the future of Balogun is going to be decided in May, not now. And so, let's wait and see what's going to happen. But I think retaining him at Arsenal will be another decision to be taken by Mikel Arteta, because it looks like Mikel Arteta wants to bring in another proven, prolific goal scorer. Gabriel Jesus is good, but he's not that one that's going to rely on to score you 20 goals a season. But he'll help your team really be mobile and obviously be creative and really create spaces for other players to run through. Now, he wants to bring in another striker, and yesterday I brought a story of Dusan Vlahovic that Arsenal might go in for a second attempt to sign him. Remember, they tried to sign him way back in January of 2022. He snapped them and went to Juventus, but the reasons were clear. Arsenal went in the Champions League, Juventus were in the Champions League. Arsenal were not competing for the trophy, now they're competing for the trophy. So those two aspects that Dusan Vlahovic's agent best on to go on to snub Arsenal and go to Juventus have been rectified by Arsenal. And right now, Arsenal are really descending and Juventus is sinking after getting a point reduction of 22 points. So, your thoughts on to Emily Smith Rowe, the game changer, Saka hungry for goals, and Florent Balogun's future to be decided in the summer. Are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. May the method bless you abundantly. Second video of the day. We are still up here for you, up and running, and we are returning in the next 2-3 hours to bring you another story of Gabriel Jesus returning to London Conley, the training ground of Arsenal, training with the first team maybe. That's the question we're going to answer that most of you are really waiting for. Guys, bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.